I see DMV Pride, even though you didn't super chat, says Ridley over Terry. Do you know what Ridley did last year? I get it. He got Matt Ryan. Julio missed 7 games, I believe, last year. So it's not like he had Julio every week to take coverage away. All right, I guarantee you Ridley had over 1,400 yards last year. I don't think you actually know. See, a lot of y'all don't watch other teams. So you don't actually know what other guys are doing. So let's look up Calvin Ridley. And I'm going to venture to say Calvin Ridley has multiple 1,000-yard seasons under his belt. And last year he went apeshit. He went bananas last year. Let's look him up. Since you Calvin Ridley over Terry. Since you human, I was wrong. So 821 yards in his rookie season. 866 2 years ago. And last year, 1374. Here's where he has Terry beat, though. And this is where Terry struggles. 9 touchdowns last year, 7 touchdowns the year before that, and 10 touchdowns his rookie season. He's got 26 touchdowns. I don't know if Terry even has 10. Let's go check Terry out. That's where Terry struggles. He doesn't get in the end zone enough. See. Some of that is on Terry. Some of that is not on Terry. Terry has 11 total touchdowns. Now, granted, one less year. Okay? But Terry would have to have 15 touchdowns to equal what Calvin Ridley has done in the touchdown department in his first 3 seasons. So that's another stat that a lot of you guys, like DK Metcalf, I get it. Russell Wilson. But let's look at DK's touchdown. I guarantee you DK is killing Terry in the touchdown department. Let's see. And that's where everybody's killing Terry. He's not killing Terry, but he's got a sizable lead. 10 this year, 7 last year, 17 total for DK. Terry at 11. Terry, I think he had 4 this year and 7 in his rookie season. Yes, 4 last year, 7 in his rookie season. So that's the next step I see for Terry in his evolution is he got to get in the end zone. You know, got to score more touchdowns. Cap off drives, make big plays, get in the end zone, find a way. So yes, Ridley over Terry. And just so you know, Calvin Ridley might be the best route runner in the entire league. He's in that category with Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams. Those dudes that are just elite route runners. Ridley's in that discussion. Terry is not, just so you know. Terry's trying to get there. He's not there yet. Come on, Lou. If you give those other wide receivers, Haskins and Smith, as their quarterbacks, that list changes dramatically, or to use your word, massively. There could be some credence to that. I don't know how these other guys, but this is the thing. I've made this point already. If you're a beast receiver, you're going to do beast receiver things no matter who's throwing you the football, which is why Terry is doing what he's doing. When you're a beast, you're going to figure it out, okay? So DeAndre Hopkins, I can't stress this enough, 4 years. Larry Fitzgerald, 4 years, played with bum after bum after bum, okay? The Ryan Lindleys of the world for Larry Fitzgerald. Okay? You figure it out when you're a beast. When you're a stud receiver, it doesn't matter who's getting you the rock. You figure it out. You make plays. I surmise that a lot of these guys that I've named on this list, look, they're aided by great quarterback play. Don't get it twisted. Okay? Is Michael Irvin a Hall of Fame player without Troy Aikman? Maybe not. Is Jerry Rice without Joe Montana and Steve Young? I don't know. It certainly helps to have those guys. Is Tyreek Hill still Tyreek Hill without Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. But I'd like to think that those guys have an elite skill set that no matter who's getting them the rock, they're still going to make plays. That's the thought process behind some of these names. And yes, all these things you take into consideration. Quarterbacks and supporting cast. You know, do you have another guy on the opposite side of the field taking away coverage? All of these things are factors, without a doubt. And I'm not dismissing them. However, these guys are really good. They're really good. And Terry's really good. So I think that if they were put in Terry's situation, they'd still be able to do what Terry's done. I do feel that way. And would Terry have done more being put in a better situation? Maybe. Maybe. I'd like to think absolutely. Even if it's not the quarterback. You guys want to always go to quarterback. Forget about that for a second. If it was just one more guy Terry could have that could take coverage away, that teams couldn't just say, hey, we're going to bracket coverage you. We're going to put cloud coverage on your side of the field and not allow you to catch anything vertically. If there was just one more guy to take away coverage, forget about that. It could have still been Alex Smith. It still could have been Kyle Allen and Dwayne Haskins. I think he would have had even better numbers. Just one more guy. Opposite. That's why they tried desperately to get Amari Cooper last offseason, if you recall. They tried to get Amari Cooper because they knew Terry needed help. So, I get it. I understand where you guys are coming from. It doesn't change the fact that those receivers that I mentioned, they're all really good, just like Terry. So if they were put in Terry's situation, they'd still ball. Now, would Terry ball more in their situation? Maybe. We will never know. But beast receivers are going to do beast receiver things. No matter who's getting them the rock. So, I hear you. And I know where you're coming from. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Just Andre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Just Andre. Windshield wiping status. My guy, Just Andre, writes, Terry, the only top 15 wide receiver without a good quarter or average quarterback. On that list that we went through, I don't remember all the names, but you're probably right. You know, most of those dudes have somebody that's anybody throwing them the football. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I'm just going through the list in my head. You got Mahomes, you got Allen, you know. Cousins is on that list. If we're being technical here with Justin Jefferson and what he did in his rookie season. But seriously, yeah, I mean, Allen, Mahomes, Wilson, Rodgers, you know, Stafford. These are all the guys that, you know, we named, you know, Rivers for a time and then straight to Justin Herbert for Allen out there in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a really good list of quarterbacks. You know, Terry doesn't have that. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to consider for sure. You know, what's going to be, and Jameis Winston isn't chopped liver. So, I don't know if that's going to matter. But Michael Thomas, it'll be interesting to see his numbers this year. But as I just mentioned, Jameis Winston is a damn good quarterback. He can get you the football. So, I don't know if, you know, looking at him this year will be a great measuring stick for that same thing I've been talking about. But look, I said it before. I said if you're a beast receiver, you're going to do beast receiver things. Period. So I think you're right. Terry might be the only guy that I named in that top 15 that, you know, Matt Ryan was in there. Yeah. Ryan Tannehill was in that list. You know, if we count A.J. Brown. So, yeah. Just Andre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. As I mentioned, killing it tonight. Really appreciate you, Just Andre, who writes, Terry had the most yak yards for a while last season. His rookie season, he had the highest contested catch percent. That can't be swept under the rug with help or lack of help around him. All of these things are true. And I remember all of the yak because everything was so short last year, especially when Dwayne was in. Terry had to catch a slant. That's all Dwayne seemed to be able to throw early in the season was hitches and slants. And so Terry was catching slants. I remember against Arizona, he had over 100 yards. I think that was a 100-yard game for him against the Cardinals. And I venture to say he had about 100 and let's call it 112 yards in that game. 84 of them were after the catch on slants. You know, he did have one catch that he should have made down the sideline. Over the shoulder. I thought it could have been a better ball from Dwayne, but still very catchable ball, but he didn't catch it. But, you know, Terry has had to make plays. There's no doubt about it. I remember that rookie season, all the contested catches that he made. Some astonishing catches because I didn't even know he was capable of making some of those catches where he's going up and taking the ball from people. Terry was phenomenal in his rookie season. Would have went over 1,000 if he didn't get hurt in that Eagles game or the Giants game. I think it was the Giants game. If he didn't get hurt in that Giants game, he would have went over 1,000, no doubt in my mind, in his rookie season. And, you know, he gutted it out last year, had, you know, banged up with the ankles and whatnot. And I think the sky's the limit for Terry. So, you know, I don't want to dismiss any of his accomplishments to this point. You're barking up the wrong tree if you think I'm trying to dismiss Terry or discredit him. What I'm just telling you is that other guys are just pure, flat out better than Terry, you know, from a skill set standpoint. But Terry is continuing to grow as a receiver. What you have to understand is that Terry was extremely raw at Ohio State. He didn't remember. Urban Meyer initially told him, go home and, you know, practice catching the football and come back and I'll think about giving you a scholarship. He wasn't highly recruited out of high school. He went home and had his mom throw him hundreds of balls every day, went back to Ohio State, tried out, and he ended up getting a scholarship. So Terry's extremely raw when he got here. And he's still getting better. He's still mastering his craft as a receiver. He's still adding things to his repertoire. He's still not at his best. And that's scary. We talked about that with Montez Sweat and Chase Young. That's the same thing can be said for Terry. He's getting better. I'm watching his route running improve year in and year out. His ability to break guys off. You know, he's adding another element to his game. He said he worked out with Doug Baldwin this past offseason on releases off the line of scrimmage, you know, to take his game to the next level. So he's getting better, but there are a lot of guys, you know, out here. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers and they got Russell Wilson and they got Josh Allen, but these dudes are dogs. Stephon Diggs was a dog before he got to Buffalo, you know? But these dudes are technicians is what I'm telling you. Terry's not that yet. He's getting there. But these dudes, Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams, these dudes are technicians. You know, and then you got some of these guys like DeAndre Hopkins. He's just a physical specimen and a beast. He's not the separator that Terry is, but it doesn't matter. Guy could be draped over his back. His hands are the strongest in the league. Same thing with Michael Thomas. These are big physical receivers. Julio Jones is the complete package. You know, DK Metcalf, complete package. So, you know, when you think about some of these dudes that that are in front of him, that I've put in front of him, it's because their skill set is a little bit better than Terry. But some of these guys, a lot of these guys have been in the league longer than Terry too. Not Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson came in the league polished, ready to go out of the packaging. Terry did not. Justin Jefferson, his last year at LSU, the man had 114 catches. He came in ready to do work. That wasn't Terry out of Ohio State. Terry was an afterthought. We thought we were getting a special teams maven. So Terry's come a long way. And he's getting better. And he's just scratching the surface. And I've been the one saying, when Chris Cooley was like, he's not a number one, I'm like, to hell if he's not. To hell if he's not. He's a damn number one in my book. And I've seen number ones. And I don't care about any position more than wide receiver. Love the wide receiver position. I know a one when I see a one, he's a one. I know when I see better ones, and that's why I put those guys in front of him. Some of those guys may not be in front of him. A.J. Brown, I just said worst case scenario. You could put Terry in front of A.J. Brown. You could put Terry in front of Kenny Golladay, potentially. You know, there were some guys that we threw in front of him on the list just for worst case scenario. Terry could be as high as 12 on that list. Right on the outside of the top 10. So, but he's not better than Tyreek Hill. He's not better than Devontae Adams. He's not better than, Julio Jones. He's not better than DeAndre Hopkins. He's not better than Stephon Diggs. There's guys that he's just flat out not better than. That's going to keep him from being a top 10 receiver. So, that doesn't take away from his greatness. So, like, both things can be true. He could not be top 10 and still be a hell of a receiver. That's what I'm trying to get across to y'all. Is that I'm not saying he won't be a top 10 receiver. I'm just saying he's not there yet. He's coming, but he's not there yet.